Okay, here we are at Metal Talk, and it's a great pleasure to be here with Patti Russo, who this year released a solo EP, XO, Hugs and Kisses.
Yes.
Many fans from all over the world remember you from your time. You got theatrical shows with Meat Loaf,
I know.
Cher, amongst many others.
Yeah. Cool,
And
cool.
to
Thanks for having me.
paraphrase the title of your last tour, how are ya?
How are ya? 5-0. That's it. That was it. Because I hit the big milestone this year. And I was like, you know what? There's a lot of candles to blow out, and so I'm going to blow out a lot of songs along the way. So I put this one together with spit and polish and got out there and did it, man. It was great.
It is good, because not many girls would openly admit you are 50.
Oh my God.
You look fantastic.
I embrace it.
So what's your secret? What's the secret to looking good?
What's the secret? It's, should I say, alcohol and cigarettes.
Just take your word up on that. I'm not looking at you.
I've been a good witch. That's a healthy diet. Eat regular, sleep, the vampire. I mean, my casket just opened a couple hours ago, so.
And, first and foremost, you sort of sneaked into England, April time, you sort of slipped under the radar, did a little tour over here. How was that for you?
It was awesome. It was really awesome. It was put together so quickly that, you know, I mean, the ink wasn't even dry on this, the little EPs. I had them printed up over here, and it was just like, you know what, I was like, I gotta do this, you know. It has to be done, doing it and going for it.
I was like, you've been busy with Meat Loaf since 1993, joined, you know, Neverland Express band in
I know.
Better 2 tour.
Man, that was a whirlwind. That was insane, yeah.
But obviously, you're not with Meat Loaf no more.
Pardon me?
You're not with Meat Loaf anymore?
No, but I mean, starting up on that time in '93 was crazy. I mean, I answered Nat. You know, who'd have guessed? Answered Nat in the Village Voice. And the next thing you know, I'm on, you know, it's like talk about cutting the queue to the front of the line. You know, doing a world tour, number one album, #1 song. It was insane. Absolutely, life changed like that.
And you were working in a beauty salon, I believe.
I was. How's my hair, by the way? Just trying to check. My hair, makeup, wardrobe. Yeah, so I was working in a hair salon. And it's true, I went out to go grab a pack of cigarettes. And there was a store next door, I think it was called Pickwick. Picked up the paper. And happened to, you know, read through the classifieds and looked in the back. I said, oh, let me just take this one home. So, yeah. Took it home. You know, it didn't say Meat Loaf, you know, Meat Loaf looking for the meat patty or whatever. But, yeah, I got in there, boy. It was crazy. The whole thing was just...
Well, obviously you come across as a very confident lady, but describe that first concert with Meat Loaf.
Well, I mean, what's bizarre is, like, so for the audition, I had just done this Dick Clark's music challenge, which was kind of like your X Factor type thing, which, you know, Star Search or whatever the hell it was. And again, answering an ad in the paper. Get one of those. So I was on ABC television. Got to sing one of my own songs, rocking it out, so I had great footage. So when I called to see who the audition was for, they asked for film footage, so I had, great clip. And but the problem was that being in a hair salon, you get bored. So I decided, and this was only after the fact that I had all these headshots taken with the long hair, looking so smart, that the one day I was like, screw it, let's whack it off. So I completely cut off all my hair. So now I've got to send them. So I sent them the 8x10 with the long hair, and then I took another 8x10, cut it out, cut all the hair around, stuck it on the back, and they were like, "Well, we gotta find out who this one is. This one's nuts." Yeah, and so the whole audition, it was so I had to go in there with short hair, sounding like Joan Rivers or Fran Drescher from The Nanny. And this first audition was really cool. Second audition, I didn't get the memo because I walked in and there were all these women dressed in white, and I'm walking around in not white.
Good way to stand out.
Kind of, I guess, or like just meld into the, because I'm in the all black, so that was kind of bizarre, and that's when you saw like just tons of women there. And I'll be honest, I didn't think I had it. I think there was someone definitely in contention, and I believe that this person had probably she was chosen, but she also had a record deal getting ready to happen. The pen was in hand. So, but I had to go through a friggin' weekend, and I'm singing with the club band, and I had committed to, and then we had double dates on like Saturday, and that Sunday, I promised somebody at work, which I wanted to choke, you know, just wanted to shoot myself. I promised her daughter that I would be Jasmine from one of the Disney things. So Jasmine with no hair, I gotta spend $40, go buy a friggin' wig to go sit around with a bunch of kids hiding gold coins dressed up in this costume was the last thing that I wanted to do.
And do you remember what songs you sang at the audition?
I did Oh Darling, and did I do Respect? No, I think it may have been Oh Darling. I think that was the yeah. Definitely think that was the one. And you know, then of course I had to do Paradise.
Yeah, of course. And was that with Meat Loaf? Was he there?
He was there. He was there. I don't remember if I had to sing it with him. I think it was the musical director at the time. But it was trippy because then to have to learn. I'm trying to put this all together because there was a place, the Rock and Roll Cafe, because I was still gigging with my club band, and it came by private courier. And so, you know, all of a sudden, dun dun dun, the documents, Mr. Phelps. And so we took a break, and I wanted to hear what the song was, which was Anything for Love. And pretty much the whole break, we're just waiting, you know, because the song's like 15, 20 minutes long. Yeah. So we're waiting for the part. I'm going, when the hell's, you know, when is the female vocals coming in? So it's like, you know, and now we got to go back up on stage. So, yeah, it was, then I heard it, and I was like, man, I'm giving this one, I'm going for it. So.
And obviously the songs of Meat Loaf are most of it's classic written by Jim Steinman and many other
God,
writers.
What a genius. What a genius.
When you sing those songs live, do you have to put yourself into some sort of character?
Well, you just feed off of each other. I mean, especially if it's the duets. You know, I'm kind of following him. And then eventually, you know, came into my own. You know, then just like Paradise was just like, oh, I always had a blast with Paradise.
Yeah.
Because I was just changing up, you know, with, you know, it's like, okay, I'm coming out on roller skates. I had just broken my ankle, you know, just had it all healed up. So I was like, you know what? Let's make it a 50s car hop, and I'm coming out, you know, with the tray. And thank God that I never, you know, took a flop, because, you know, with all those, you know, you got all those chords everywhere and things, and I'm, you know, coming in, and though it's cold.
It's like any stage mishaps.
It could have been so.
You know,
it could have been. It was comedy at its point. Yeah,
has there been any embarrassing moments on stage doing these songs?
Oh God, what happened once? Yeah, well, I'm sure we had. Well, like I lost it the one time, and I couldn't. I think I flipped around the words. And he caught me on that, and then I just couldn't, like, I couldn't stop laughing. It was just like, oh shit, you know. So it's like, just to try, and he got me good on that. But I've got him back too, so.
And we just mentioned Jim Steinman, because he's a musical genius.
Oh,
and,
isn't he though?
He's a bit Mr. Maverick, and also you know him personally. So who is the real Jim Steinman?
Who is the real Jim Steinman? Jim, I would say, you know, Jim is, who's the real Jim Steinman? If I have to tell you, I have to kill you. No, he's a great guy. He's a quirky, and I was there when he got inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame, and he's, yeah, you know, the way he writes those lyrics, tongue in cheek. He's a wit. He's a clever man, a very funny man, and that's a great song.
And you've also written songs yourself with Meat Loaf.
Oh, I have. Oh my God.
One or two songs for actually every album, and one of the songs you sort of performed live, and actually an artist, Betty Harris, recorded it as well, was Bring Me a Bible and a Beer.
I know.
Great title.
Isn't it? Well, that's how it was written. I was in Nashville, and I met up with this guy, John Tiven. Brian May had, I just said, who do you know? I'm going out to Nashville. Can you hook me up with some people? And he just threw some random names, like off the top of my head. Here's some people, and I sorted them out. So I went to this guy, John's house, and basically sat in front of his computer listening to tracks that he had had. I said, just give me some stuff to write to. So I'm just listening, I'm going, okay, that sounds like something I could work with. And that track for Bible, I was sitting, because I did bring my Bible to the Bible Belt of Nashville, and with a Corona on the table. And I did have, it's a true story, sitting in a friend's kitchen in Nashville, trying to, you know, computer, that's why I'm pointing there, computer's there, and I'm going, okay. So, you know, and then it's just like, there it is. It's just like, ah, you know, pretty much. The lights came from above, and then it was. Yeah, it was fun. It's fun.
And how did the Bible Belt of America take to that song? Sometimes they can be a bit funny about these songs.
Well, you know, I didn't perform it out there. It was trippy too that actually Betty Harris wanted to record it because her father was a preacher. So I was like, ooh, that's gonna hurt. You know, even though it doesn't matter how old you are, Daddy's still Daddy, and you're still Daddy's little girl. But yeah, I'm sure if I'm sure a few times if I said the title, there was like a lightning bolt in, and I just kind of missed it. You know, I would imagine thunderstorm warnings. You know, that little tag that comes underneath the top. There it is, hurricane warning. Russo's in town. Look out.
Fantastic. And this, not only was you busy working with Meat Loaf, but when you in your downtime, you kept yourself very busy.
I did, and things were happening all over the place.
And in 2000, you come over to London for the London production, and you played Esmeralda in a production of Notre Dame de Paris.
I know.
With Metal Talk's good friend Doogie White. And
yeah.
How did that come about? And obviously, it's going back to the acting role, isn't it? So
I was trippy because I wasn't, you know, I've never acted. I mean, I never took any proper, you know, acting lessons. And it was actually Meat Loaf's agent at the time who was representing Tina Arena. And he's like, he phoned up or emailed, whatever, and he's like, do you act? And I was like, no. He's like, well, look, this is, you know, Tina's going to be doing this production in London. She's not going to be here for long. He goes, I think you'd be absolutely brilliant. Of course, it's, you know, a gypsy girl, crazy lady, and I was like, yeah, I could do that in my sleep. Hello. I even have the clothes. But yeah, so that was a trip. That was trippy.
And talking of trips, there was a Queen Day in Amsterdam in 2002. You got to sing 3 songs of them. Now, that doesn't get offered to anybody just like that. So how did that come about?
Well, I mean, you know, just when I love Queen. You know, they were my band.
Yeah.
And even before anything was happening with Meat Loaf and all of that, while I was still working in a hair salon and doing gigs at night. And I can remember calling up Hollywood Records in California, you know, just trying to find out what they're doing, blah, 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 you know, trying to throw out something. It was just garbly-goop. And it was one night at Wembley. We were playing Wembley Arena. And, you know, I used to warm up to Queen before every show. So Meat, you know, came to my dressing room, and he's like, this woman here wants to do an interview with you. So I walk over, and of course he's like, I should have known. I mean, it was early on because he's just like, you know, like blocking me from view and it's exaggerating and bringing me in there. And there's this woman standing there. Of course, I have no idea that Brian May's, you know, seated right there. So I just said,
it's not easy to recognise, is it?
Yeah, you know, exactly. Yeah, you know, he was up on one of those little things, you know. Have you seen this man? Yeah, so, and I guess I kind of just pestered him because he gave me his email address, and I kept sending songs, and I don't know, one thing led to another. I think it was through Spike Edney, actually.
He was like Queen's 5th member.
Yeah,
kind of thing, yeah. So
I'd met them and got up and jammed with them one night at the Shepherd's Bush.
Oh,
and
the SAS
of course
band,
I knew, of course I knew the whole catalog of Queen music, and that phone call came in, and it was just like...
Actually, I remember going to the Freddie Mercury tribute many years ago. There's a great quote from Ian Hunter in the programme, and it says, take all these singers here today to sing the songs of Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
Obviously only one Freddie Mercury.
Yeah.
And obviously when you sing the songs of Queen, you must realise what a phenomenal singer and what range he had.
Oh my God. I mean, you know, it's like that line from, you know, from the Highlander. You know, there could be only one, and it's true.
Now, did you ever see Freddie Mercury live with Queen?
No, that's the thing. That's just, can you imagine? I mean, that's just like a place. It was heartbreaking that I didn't. Yeah. You know, but I will say that the first thing I did when I came to England, went off to the hotel, put my bags there, and I got in a cab, and I went to Kensal Green Cemetery.
So you're not that far from here right now, actually.
Well, I hadn't even a clue. I was like, just get, you know, I got into a cab, and I said, this is where I need to go.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the truth. I mean, I just had to pay respects. There were still flowers there at the one little, I guess it was a chapel or something. But, I mean, that's the first thing I did, you know. And then I just, and honestly, walking through there, and it was a gloomy day, seeing all the old tombstones, and I'm going, how the hell am I going to get back? Where am I? I have no clue where I'm, you know, I knew the name of the hotel, and that was it. That was all she wrote. And, pay no attention to that.
I meant to tell you to take the phone off.
Yeah, I know, son of a... And this friggin' phone, every time, you know, I'm just to tell you, I'm not gonna name names. It's not.
It's actually it's Freddie. It's the ghost of Freddie calling.
Yeah. Well, that one I pick up that call because this friggin' thing, it's off, it's on, it doesn't. It's and of all days.
And just before we move away from Queen, what's your favourite Queen song?
Oh God.
I'll let you name a couple if you want.
Oh wow, there's so many. There's shit. God, there's you know, Mother Love. There's Father to Son. There's
you like the early material, then, rocky stuff.
Oh, I have the whole catalog.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm just even Cool Cat. I Want It All. Ride the Wild Wind.
I love fantastic. Innuendo, yeah, amazing song. That just tells you everything about him and everything. Moving on, 2009. Cher, Vegas,
Cher.
one of your heroines.
God Almighty, that was such a trip. So I'm doing the tour with Meat Loaf, and he phones me up or emails me in the middle of the night. I think we were in Finland or whatever, and I was planning on staying here to do a gig. And Meat's like, can you come out to LA, doing a show called Don't Forget the Lyrics with his daughter Pearl, and we want you as a friend. It's like kind of that Millionaire, you have the friend there. So I'm like, oh God, what am I gonna do? That means I gotta go fly to England, to LA, and then come back for this other gig. And coming back like that night, coming in that morning of the gig I have to do. But of course, I'm gonna do it. So I'm like, psh, online. I actually booked my own flight, get off the plane in LA and run into Laurie Weisfeld and a couple of other friends. We're on the same plane. I mean, I'm in steerage and he's up in the front. But same hotel. Long story short, run into Cher's keyboard player. They're all there rehearsing for Tina Turner. And I, you know, started a conversation with him, and I was like, man, you know, she's my idol. We had the same birthday. And I just actually told an interview. I did an interview about meeting her the first time at Top of the Pops, and how I wanted the picture with Cher, and have Meat called her in, and he was like, all right, take the picture, Patti, but he puts his arm around Cher, so I missed my moment. And I'm like, you know, I didn't know what to say. So I do this interview and say, you know, Cher, if you're out there, I need a picture. So cut to a week and a half later, the flight, meet up with this guy. Cher needs a singer, please, you know, call me. And they called. And then I'm up there, and then it was just like, and I got my picture on her birthday because we have the same birthday.
Marvellous.
Yeah.
You get me all excited. I'm moving ahead of myself here. I should go back to the Queen because you played Killer Queen in We Will Rock You.
I did.
2004.
I did. It was a trip. They had actually called me. I was just finishing doing Notre Dame, and didn't quite know what I was going to be doing. And Bryan phoned me up and says, would you mind auditioning? We're holding auditions for this musical we're putting together with Ben Elton. So I had to audition for Roger. So that was the first time I met Roger. And so I auditioned, did the reading here in London. They went in a different direction, which was a bummer for me, but had I been chosen for Killer Queen, I would have never been able to have done Amsterdam. So,
so that's pretty good.
So, that was pretty cool. I mean, that footage for me, I mean, you know, I put a tiara. I told those guys, I go, look, I'm going to wear my hat. I said, but I'm putting on a tiara. I said...
It's pretty amazing actually, because when We Will Rock You first came out here in London at Dominion Theatre, you got very lukewarm reviews, and obviously it ran for years and years and years and years. And what was the reception in America?
It was, you know, it was good. It was great fun. You know, the problem with, I would say, my opinion, problem with casinos, you know, it's all corporate twisted, this, that, and they try to, you know, morph, and they, you know, that ain't, you know, you're gonna get these, God forgive me, I'm gonna say, these corporate suits that don't know jack shit about rock and roll, or about any of it.
Yeah.
You know, what are you gonna do? You know.
I love your honesty.
It happens.
And let's go right full circle. Let's bring back to your EP, Hugs and Kisses.
Yeah, and, that was kind of a quick. You know, when I decided to put.
Obviously, these are your own songs.
Yes, they are. Yeah, and they're, you know, co-writes of the music. There was what's on there? Well, Bibles is John's music track. Gabe Katona on One Door Opens. Here We Are is one I wrote, but I also included a friend of mine who played guitar on there. So I was like, look, you help me out. Let's put it together.
Noticing the lyrics today, like songs like Here We Are and How Long and Wonder opens, and it's all. You come across a little bit lonely and a little bit afraid.
Well, they just, they come from places, and they, it was that was a dark. But One Door Opens came out of that same spot too, and it actually kind of was like, I couldn't believe that was going to come out. Believe me, there's a lot of songs with a lot of F-bombs in them too. I was just writing away. I was like, how's that going to sing? What rhymes with Chuck?
F-bomb would be a great album title.
That's a song. Instead of that sex bomb, F-bomb, F-bomb, you're yeah, so I put together, it was just when I decided to put the gigs together, it was like, okay, let me just at least get these all kind of finished, tweaked up, and just something to give. It wasn't to sit down and put together a whole album's worth. I don't even know if albums are a thing anymore. I think they're.
I think they are in our world.
Yeah, they are. They should be. And it was just funny. I was just listening to. It came through today. I was listening to Bruce, Darkness on the Edge of Town, which is one I remember. That brings me back to a moment. Elton John, and then listening to then actually Queen with Paul Rogers came up.
Cosmos Rocks,
yeah.
Pretty good album, actually.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And also you've done an EP, so have you got an album's worth of material waiting in the
Oh my God, there is a shitload of material there. It's just a matter of, putting it all together, and and also there's some people interested in some of the songs as well. So I'm on this is...
Yeah, you could be the next Deanne Warren,
Oh my God, like, look out, England, here I come. I'm going to be all over the place, I'm going to be like the gum that you find everywhere.
Is any other artists out there you still like to work with in the future?
Oh God. Well, I'd love to work with Annie Lennox. Definitely would love to sit down and do some music with her.
Is that just a dream thing, or do you know her personally?
No, I don't. I mean, I met the other half of the Eurythmics.
Dave Stewart,
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'd love to sit down with her. Who else? God, off the top of my head, that's what's coming to mind right now.
Because there's other artists you worked with in the past.
Well, Steinman. I mean, hello, Jim. You told me I could sing the Tears, so cry me a river, cry me a song, cry me a demo. No.
And, you just been mentioning some of the albums you've been playing today, and so what was the first record you ever bought? Remember?
Teaser and the Fire Cat Stevens.
Oh right, yeah. He's playing over this very soon, actually.
I know, yes. And I actually know someone who's so that's going to be a trip. Yeah. Yep. And what's bizarre is that, I mean, it's going to be so. I bought it because I was, God, how old was I? Like 8. I bought it for the cover. I bought it for the album cover because it had little kitty cats and the little garbage scene with little fish bones, and I was like, oh, and little painting, and I was like, loved it. I mean, he's incredible. Fantastic. He's incredible.
What was the first album?
I like to work with him as well. I like to sing along with him. And Peter Gabriel, you're another one. Come on.
What was the first concert you ever attended?
Oh God, I think it was Journey.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Lucky you. You didn't come over here for many years.
Yeah. That was Journey. Yeah, there was a place, SPAC, which that was the area where I grew up. It was the Saratoga Performing Arts Center, SPAC. So actually, when I had the opportunity to perform on that stage, that was a trip. Because it's hometown girl, playing. That was pretty awesome.
And what unfulfilled ambitions do you have?
Well, I'm working on those right now.
Good girl.
And so there's quite a few of them, and they'll come to fruition. I'll tell you off camera. We'll put it in a hermetically sealed envelope, and then we'll open it, and then it'll be like, oh my God, holy shit, she did it. She did it. Of course she did it. I was like, far.
You just done these UK dates, and me and Stephen Gossack, we missed them, and a lot of other fans didn't realise. So, any more future dates in the future?
I'm hoping. You'll never know.
Any promoters watching this interview?
There's some.
The girls here.
There's some things. There's some things. The wheels are turning. Yeah. That's it.
Fantastic.
So, it's going to be awesome.
Patti Russo, it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you.
Thank you so much.
I wish you so much for the future. You're a wonderful girl. The EP. EXO.
EXO, here we go.
It's out there right now, and it's great material. It really is. So
thank you.
I enjoyed it very much.
There's more where that came from.
Excellent.
Stay well, ovaries, and out.
All the best. Thank you.